Hey folks, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about shelters, more specifically like a super shelter and different variations that you can do with that. When we start talking about, survival shelters or shelters in general, it's really dependent on what you're taking with you. Are you doing a completely all-natural shelter? Did you bring everything with you, a combination, stuff like that. So today, for this shelter, I'm going to say that I have a 10 by 10 piece of plastic. I'm going to make a natural structure out of these saplings behind me. And I'm going to say for this exercise that I have a little bit of cordage with me. All I'm doing now is giving it a little support across the top. Just giving it a little ridge pull. This is a not very stable shelter platform that I'm making, but it's bone still out here. When you're in this thick of stuff, it really cuts the wind, so I don't think it'd be a problem. And then after I get it together, if I am still having problems, I can add some ribs to it, anchored back at the very base to give it some support. Okay, here it is. Just a simple dome framework, just some twigs, saplings tied together, one little simple ridge pole. It's not going to stand up to super high winds or anything. Right now, to seal the edges, I would need to mound up some snow. It's maybe 4 to 6 inches too tall, so I would have liked to have had a little bit more area to work with on the tarp on the sides, but that's okay. For a quickie shelter, this will work. And you can see here the front is a little bit open, but once I get in here, so you can see I can seal that up pretty good. Or even if I found, small round rock, I could tie a little loop between both of them, make a toggle out of that rock, and fasten my door that way. Definitely want to have something that I can get out of semi-quickly, but also you want to kind of seal it up as best you can. I'm going to, now what you would do with this is on the side, lengthwise to your body, if that's the way I chose to lay. It is longer front to back. So anyway, I would have my long fire off to the side, the full length of my body. And there you go. All right, let's do another setup. This is supposedly that we don't have, a ton of line for a ridge line, so to speak. I could have used a ridge pole, but this is just one way of doing it. I would say I've got 5 foot square easy inside of here. So not the most efficient use of space with this particular size of drop cloth or poly, but still, I generally don't stretch out anyway, so I get a good night's sleep here with the right insulating matter between me and the ground, that's for sure. Okay, for this shelter I've got a piece of plastic again, 10 by 10, and this time I'm saying that I have a piece of cordage, nice ridgeline material, piece of paracord, and I went ahead and set it up. It's about right around hip height on me, and now I'm just going to try and get scrape away as much of this snow as I can. If this shelter works right, I definitely don't want that, well, whether it works right or not, I definitely don't want this cold sink, you might say, of all this snow making the bottom really cold. I got the ground's going to do that anyway. I want to try to get rid of some of this snow. Alright, on to the next. So for this, I just cut some approximately 5 foot long poles, and I'm going to angle, it's going to be an A-frame, and I'm going to angle the sides down and then tuck the excess material under, and I'm going to put these boards, like I did in my last shelter video, to billow out the sides and to hold the sides in place. Alright, she's just about all done. It didn't take very long. Just a few minutes screwing around, tucking the edges under. Like I said, I put those logs across the inside, and then also for the front of the door I have enough left over that I can tuck it all under and put a couple more pieces of wood there to seal the door. I did that on the entrance side, and then the other side that I'm not going to use as an entrance. That side down there I was able to tuck some snow in up from the outside, kind of seal it a little more permanent, where this door is removable. There's actually quite a bit of room in there. I don't have enough, the way I have the shelter right now, I don't have enough of a vapor barrier to go completely under me. That's not really a huge deal because no matter what, I'm going to need some sort of debris under there. So if I just make sure that my debris is dry, you know, I'll be okay. If I needed to, I could tuck this side under a little bit more, and I think I'd have really close to 100% coverage underneath me. I'll show you the inside here in just a minute. Once again, not 100% coverage on the bottom. That's okay. You know, I could sit here and screw around with this to where I had less material on one side as opposed to the other, and then gain more overall underneath coverage if I wanted to. There's a little messing around, not a big deal. Like I said, I would need a definite debris mattress or something to insulate me from the ground. Okay, I've got my fire going. It's right around 20 degrees, maybe a little above 22, something like that, outside air temperature right now. I recently attended a couple of gatherings where I was able to talk to a couple of Morris Kahansky's instructors, and the one where they discussed the super shelter, they had a natural framework built, and then they put a piece of parachute material over it, and then they put plastic over the top of that with a nice raised bed in there. And the parachute material, the theory with that is the major con of this type of shelter is the condensation that can develop inside your shelter. And especially with this one where it's all plastic. If you don't have 100% plastic, it's not as bad for sure. But the 100% plastic like this, there's a lot of, you know, if you don't get the ventilation right and stuff, there can be condensation in there. And that's how they combat that. I talked with David Westcott just very briefly on a Facebook post, and he posted a picture of a super shelter that he did. And actually, when I was at Rabbit Steak, I took some walks, and I was able to see the framework that he makes for that he teaches his students to make, and they're all natural framework as well. So, you know, there's more than one way to do this. You just have to ask yourself, why am I doing it? Am I doing it for fun, just to kind of check stuff out? Or am I carrying this piece of plastic around thinking that if I'm hiking and it's 20 below and I don't have a nice 20 below rated sleeping bag, will this get me through the night? And it just depends on when you're going to figure that out in your day hike or whatever, and what else you have with you, how much time you have, things like that. Okay folks, well I got the inside temperature to upper 50s in there right now, so it's pretty toasty warm. I don't have that big of a fire. If I really needed this shelter to be as warm as possible, I would definitely have a long fire like I discussed earlier. I would need to extend my base and all that stuff, but I put a big log on the fire. A lot of this too with getting these shelters to work is fire maintenance. Whether it, you know, and if it's super cold, you need your fire to be just raging hot and you need a big fire. Right now, for this temperature, this little fire right here is going to be just fine. I don't need to use as much wood, put a couple of big logs on there, and it'll last quite a while. Then I can just throw a couple more on there too. And with this shelter, and like I said, with especially how warm it is right now, the coal base that develops is going to continue to heat you well after the flames are died down. Unlike when you're trying to survive when it's, you know, 10 below or something, you need flame, about a foot high flame, and you need that fire cooking. So Well, that's about it. I got a lot of requests for shelters when I did my GNS giveaway, so I just wanted to touch base with a few of them today. There's a lot of material to cover when it comes to shelters. Alright folks, hope you liked the video. Take care.